What's up, everybody? Jets Wire here today. Today, I'll be talking about 5 potential trade destinations for Jets' young quarterback, Sam Darnold. But before I start the video today, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and comment your opinions on this. So, with the Jets, with a lot of questions in at quarterback, when you got guys that the possible rumors about Deshaun Watson getting traded to the New York Jets, possibly drafting a Justin Fields or a Zach Wilson. And the Jets are still trying to find a suitor for Sam Darnold. So, obviously, the Jets are trying to look for like a second or maybe even a third rounder. But we're just going to see. So, I know Joe Douglas is going to try to get the best offer for him. But we're just going to see. All right, so number 5 on the list is the Chicago Bears. So obviously they're not expected to bring back Mitchell Trubisky. He's just had some issues with the team. The Bears really liked him at first. The first year they had Fox as their head coach that year. And he didn't work well. But then they bring in Nagy the second year. He plays really good and gets them to the playoffs. They go 12-4 that year and make the playoffs, and they just lose in the wild card round to the Philadelphia Eagles. And then the next year, I forget what happened. I know they missed the playoffs. Trubisky wasn't that good that year, but this past year, they were able to make the playoffs. But they went on some like 7. They started 5-1. I went on some like 6-game losing streak. And Mitchell Trubisky didn't really play well. So the Bears, there was a combination between Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles. And Nick Foles played all right. Trubisky, some of the time, he played all right. And the Saints eliminated them in the wild card round. So, and now they're possibly looking for a new quarterback now. And Sam Darnold can potentially be traded to the Chicago Bears. All right, now next, we got the Washington Football Team. So, obviously, they won the NFCs this year. Really crappy division out there. Probably the worst division in the history of sports. So this year they released Dwayne Haskins. Alex Smith came in, played really well, but he's really dealing with leg issues right now. Obviously, his whole leg is literally banged up so bad, and it's just really hard for him to play football now, man. He was really good with the Kansas City Chiefs, and like in the past, he was an average quarterback. He was an okay quarterback, but now he's just really out of shape with his leg all blown up, and now Washington could potentially be looking for a new quarterback this offseason. Maybe Sam Darnold would be a good fit, but it just, like, again, I think Joe Douglas, he's gonna try to get the best. To be honest, I don't think we're gonna get a first rounder from him. A first rounder is really unlikely. I just can't see a guy that's regressed their 3 years in the NFL, and you somehow get a first rounder from him. I just don't really see that in any kind of way. So, like, if anything, you can get like a second and third rounder for him, maybe even a second and a fourth. But Joe Douglas is gonna see what he can do with him. But we're gonna. I don't know a certain time that he'd be traded, maybe before the draft. If we end up picking a Justin Fields or a Zach Wilson, or even if we trade for Watson. But I am not sure when we would trade Sam Darnold. But so I think Washington, number 4, because that's a really decent spot for him. So, and now coming at number 3 is the San Francisco 49ers. So, this team was in the Super Bowl about a year ago. Jimmy Garoppolo had a really good 2019 through 20 season, but with the way he's been handling his injuries and him just not getting on the field, the 49ers are maybe going to move on from him. And I've heard many reports before that Kyle Shanahan would really like to work with Sam Darnold one day, 49ers head coach. So, And I think it would make sense for him too because he grew up there. He that's literally his hometown. He went to USC, so like I think California, like San Francisco, would make sense for him because it's literally his hometown, literally. So the 49ers would make sense because that's, if anything, should everybody's putting the 49ers at the top of their list because that just makes sense a lot. Because if Garoppolo's not there anymore, I think the 49ers would go after a guy like Sam. It would just make sense, in my opinion. So, and Nick Mullins for the 49ers, he played like the 49ers backup quarterback. He played literally half the year because Garoppolo missed a lot of time. So that might be a reason why they want to move on from him. Just because they just can't stand guys getting hurt that much and missing that much time. So that could be a really good spot for Sam Darnold, in my opinion. So the 49ers would be number 3 for me. Coming in at number 2, the New Orleans Saints. So obviously, with Drew Brees, he hasn't announced his retirement as of right now, but he's expected to in the next few weeks. So I know they have plenty of options. They can go after Sam if they want, but if they want to, they can end up sticking with like Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill. But if the Saints want to start over with a nice young quarterback again after Brees retiring, then I can see them going after a guy like Sam. I think, I think Sam with any of these teams, he would get better on because all these teams, I think they got really good coaching for him. They got pretty good weapons for him. So like the Bears, they got a really decent offensive line out there. They got decent weapons. The football team, they have decent weapons too. They have a really decent offense. I think Sam Darnold can make their offense better. 49ers, you know what they can do. Despite all their injuries, they are still able to score points and find a way to just be competitive and win games. And obviously the Saints, they've been a competitive team for years. And I think obviously they got great weapons. They got Alvin Kamara, they got Michael Thomas, they got all these guys. And Jared Cook, and I think that's a really good team for Sam Darnold to be on because it just has everything set up for him. He's got obviously Sean Payton's a great coach, and obviously they got good weapons. So I think the Saints would be another great spot for him in my opinion. So, and it would just make sense because who knows, maybe they just want to start over with a new quarterback. So I think Saints is number 2 in my opinion. So, and coming in at number 1, I really think this is the best spot for Sam Darnold to go to, and that is the Indianapolis Colts. So obviously, about 2 days ago, Philip Rivers announced his retirement. So he is done with football. Amazing career by him. He played about 16 years with the Chargers and only 1 year with the Colts. And I think a lot of people were saying that the Colts is like his main destination. I think that's a great destination for Sam Darnold. That is obviously a team that was really good this year. They just failed in the playoffs. They got eliminated first round by the Buffalo Bills. But this is a team that has a great defense, has a great offensive line. Obviously, they got a beast Quentin Nelson, and then obviously T.Y. Hilton, great wide receiver out there. So they got good. I think the Colts, my opinion, would make the best sense for Sam Darnold, in my opinion, because I don't really think Jacoby Brissett would even make sense, bro. I don't think he's a total. I don't think he has any chance of being a franchise quarterback, in my opinion. I really think Sam Darnold still has a chance of being a franchise quarterback. And listen to me. Everyone has to understand why the Jet fans just want to move off of Sam Darnold. It's not that we don't think he could be a franchise quarterback. It's just with the way the Jets have mismanaged him and not being able to develop him or anything like that. Him coming back his 4th year, making all that money, $25 million. You can't be paying a guy that's been regressing all 3 years. And it's just not worth it. You're better off moving on. When you have all this money on the cap, you got a new coach, Robert Saleh, you got all of this. So, you just need to move on at this point. I'm a Sam Darnold fan, but I know it's time to move on. I have, like, again, you have to stop. You have to think with your head, not your heart, in my opinion. So I think the Colts would make the best sense for him, in my opinion. And a lot of people think that. I think he'd be a great fit with any of these teams, in my opinion. So, like, obviously, the Jets, Joe Douglas is probably going to be talking to these teams. Probably all these teams, maybe even more teams. There's some other teams out there. I doubt, I was going to put the Steelers on this list, but realizing that Big Ben's going to be back, I don't think they're going to rush in and get a quarterback in here and just sit them for like a year. So, I was going to put the Steelers on here, but then I realized that Roethlisberger is probably going to be back next year. He already announced that he's going to be back, so that's why I didn't put the Steelers on this list. So make sure you guys comment your opinions on this video today. Tell me where you think he should go, and what do you think the Jets can get back for him. So do that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Make sure in about 20 minutes, Robert Saleh's press conference will be on TV, SNY. So check that out. It's gonna be a cool. So don't forget to subscribe, like the video, comment your opinions. Don't forget to follow my Instagram account, Jets_Wire, and I will see you guys in the next video.